All right, real quick. So as soon as I shot this video, Bumble decided to go ahead and update their UI. Now, this is just the way dating apps go. They're always updating, and typically the updates don't change very much. It's not going to change the way that you set up your profile. It's not going to change the description you put. It's not going to change the way you answer prompts. Maybe there's a new feature they're testing out, and that's about it. In this case, Bumble did update, and the actual color scheme and a little bit of the way things were laid out changed. Aside from that, nothing did. So everything in the video that you're going to watch is still relevant. I just thought there's really no sense in updating the entire thing just because Bumble did a small update. These updates happen all of the time across all the apps. Generally speaking, everything remains the same. So just bear that in mind as you watch the video. And now let's get into the video, huh? Hey, what's going on? Chris Harders here. And I want to show you my Bumble dating profile today. So I have my screen shared, and I'm going to walk you through why I've chosen to do what I've done on this dating app. You can take pieces of this for the other apps. Most of mine are pretty similar with what I put out. Right now, my top 3 apps are Bumble, Hinge, and The League as a guy. And Bumble and Hinge are by far the best ones. The problem with The League, even though there are great matches, is you only get 3 to 5 a day based on whether you are a paying member or a free member. And if you're not on The League already, there's a really long waiting list. So while I do think that there's some amazing women on there, it's just an inefficient use of time unless you were to spend the $99 a month to become a member. And having paid it myself, I can tell you guys, you don't need to. You're not missing out much if you're not on The League. So this is my dating profile right now, and I'm going to walk you through first the pictures and then the prompts, because those are the 2 big things. There's also a few details about like things I've chosen to show or not show on my profile, and you can do the same thing. So as I'm looking through, the first photo you always want to have on your dating profile is one that's very clear, usually upper body, that makes your face very clear, and you're the only one in the photo. If there's other people in the photo, she's going to get confused. She may or may not swipe right on you, but it's just going to make it a lot easier for her if it's only you. And ideally, this is a high quality photo. So I had a friend take this shot with a very high quality camera. That being said, even then, this isn't like the ideal shot. I could go and get a better one, but it works well enough. I'm getting the matches that I want. And really, that's what it's about. It's about seeing, are you getting the matches that you want? Because if you are, then everything's pretty good. You're doing okay. So the first one is me, good photo. I'm also paying attention to the background. The background is good there. I've got a genuine smile. The way you can see that is I have these creases in my eyes when I'm smiling here, which somebody would take to mean is a real smile. Now, they may not know that consciously, but that's the indicator of a true smile versus a fake smile. A fake smile, this is going to be a challenge for me to do right now, but a fake smile would be where you're not creasing these. And I'm so used to smiling that these are kind of always creased for me. But typically, like, some people will have smiles where they actually look like they're in pain because they're not doing a real smile. So they had to fake a smile for the photo. And then it's this sort of like, they look like they're actually in pain. And so when you see that, even if you're not consciously registering it, the woman, she might notice that and be like, I don't know why, but I feel a little bit off with this guy. And it could be because the photos you have right now aren't you having like a genuine smile, authentic smile. The way that I was getting these smiles, by the way, is by laughing. So I was having my friend take photos of me while I was going, and the laugh was able to really capture that smile the way that I wanted it to. And we also took a bunch of photos, and I chose the one that was going to be best. That's kind of a key thing. Now, if you personally don't know anyone who can take a good photo of you, it's going to be very advantageous for you at this point in time to hire a photographer. I will do a video on that as well in order to help you find the right photographer, because there are better and worse photographers. You want one that is really going to help you get the best versions of yourself as you're taking these photos. So that's photo number 1. And then I put me with a dog, and this was the background of this photo is actually not very good, right? So there's just like sort of a bunch of clutter and mess in the background, but it's a really good photo. Now, this dog, Missy, she's a Dalmatian. She's my cousin's dog, and she just really cuddled up to me, and like my cousin said, do you want me to take a picture? So it was just perfect in a lot of ways. There's a lot of things I could have done better here in terms of would have been ideal if I was wearing a slightly different outfit, would have been ideal if my hair was a little bit different, but the dog element of it helps so much because what's being conveyed here is the dog is very comfortable with me, and it's important that the dog is showing the affection. So I've seen photos where a guy is almost like strangling the dog or like lifting it up, and the dog is in like cowering in pain. That's not the photo that you want to do. You want to do one where the dog is showing you a lot of affection in whatever way that is. And I've even had photos in the past where there's been like a photo of, I've had a number of photos in the past of me with different dogs. One of a Dalmatian like kissing me and on like basically kissing me on the lips, like her nose was right at my nose. Another one of me being asleep while I was wearing a suit with a dog's head right next to me. And that one actually I took while I was awake, but I was like, oh, this is actually really cute. So then I kind of closed my eyes and took a couple of selfies. So it was a little bit, a little bit of misleading in terms of it's not like somebody just took that candid, but it had the candid feel. But the idea is that animal shot, if you like animals, is really going to help you. Now, if you don't like animals, I've talked to guys who are like, I really don't like dogs. I just didn't grow up with them. That's not my thing. That's not my culture. If it's not, then like, don't do it. But it does help. It does help. It shows a caring side of you, which is very useful. When I'm writing this is specifically for guys who are a little bit more serious about their dating life. Still will help you if you're trying to be playful and have something casual. But especially if you want like a great woman in your life for a little bit of a longer haul, the dog is really going to help you. Now, me, this is me in New Zealand, and it's just an outdoor pic. It's just showing that I'm active. So here, my arms, you can see the way that they are out. This is a very good way of actually really showing off your torso. And I was already in good shape. So I took a look at this photo and I'm like, okay, well, it's showing that I'm in good shape. It's showing I'm outdoors. I have a big smile on, and it's great. Like, it's kind of a generic pose shot in some ways. The background does okay for it. And so if I were to remove one because I had better photos to go, it might be this one. But for now, it serves its purpose, right? It's showing that I care about the outdoors and I look good in it, which is what's going to matter. I've got a big smile on, and then also, like, I'm in pretty good shape. I'm in better shape there than I am right now. Not by much, but I was definitely in better shape at that point in time. So next photo is actually a pretty funny photo in that you can barely see me. And funny enough, like, I've got a horrible sunburn here, like just a wild sunburn from earlier that day. I don't know how many, I've never gotten feedback whether anyone could tell that. But what makes this photo really work is one, the scene, again, is a good scene, right? So it's very useful to pay attention to context, to background. And then the bigger thing here too is that I'm with two women. So by being with these two women and by neither of them showing me like affection or as if they were my girlfriend or something like that, that's not going to be helpful. A girl's going to be like, why do you have another woman in your shot? But these are two attractive women who are hanging out with me. And even if they weren't attractive, it still might be okay to have that photo. But these are women where I like them. We get along. So it displays that, I'm friends with women. Women are around. So she can be like, okay, well, I feel comfortable around him. Ideally, it's a woman similar to the type of woman you would be interested in dating. And I met these women during a holistic healing class. And that's something that I'm really into. So, I mean, it all fits if anyone were to ask about this photo. But like, overall, it's an okay photo. Like, it's pretty blurry and things like that. So I wouldn't keep it if I had better ones. But what I don't really care so much about the woman seeing me. From here, she can see, okay, he's got, he's in decent shape. She's already seen another photo of me. And what I really care about is conveying, one, I really like the nature, the outdoors, things like that. And then two, I'm, spending time with women. So that's what that photo is intended to convey. And then this last one is, again, just me out in the woods. And this is a selfie. This is me, like, I kind of tried to make it so it would be unclear if it was a selfie or not, or it might be as if I were like stopping somebody from taking a picture of me with a big smile on my face, making eye contact directly with the lens of the camera. And again, it was just a recent photo. The exact jacket I'm wearing, the brand is a brand that people who do outdoors, certainly in Tahoe where I live, would understand, oh, he's like one of us. It's kind of like an in brand rather than some of the more common ones out there. This is one that's very high quality and just displays little, parts of me, and maybe my value system there. Like, okay, he's a guy who values quality. So that's all that photo is meant to do. And that's my entire Bumble dating profile in terms of photos. Now let's take a look at what I have chosen to include here. So I put my job, I put my college. Like, I wouldn't put any more than that, but it's up to you what you put. And so I put men's dating coach at worldwide. What am I going to put? My website? Like, it's just kind of a silly thing to put right there. And then about me, I made my about me so that she got a sense of who I was, but she could also be involved in it. And then it also answered a very common question that women would ask me. So the first part is about me. Must be a good role model to my future Australian Shepherd Aussie. The fun thing about this is it begins to paint the picture of the life that I want to live. So it's so common for men when I'm looking at their descriptions that they just write a bunch of bullets about themselves. And it's kind of like, I don't think that they're really thinking, well, she needs not to just know like, who is this guy, but like, what's he want? What's that relationship? So the more you can paint that, this is something most guys aren't doing right now. This puts you in that league of your own. The more you can start painting that picture of the type of life you want to live with someone, the more it's going to help. So when I put, must be a good role model to my future Australian Shepherd Aussie, I don't have an Australian Shepherd yet. I'd like one. And I'm also like kind of putting in a little bit of that challenging element to it, a little bit of that play. Must be a good role model. Like she has, she like it's almost like an application process or something like that, right? So it's fun, it's light, it's not a big challenge, but it is giving her a sense of, what I'm about. Now next, yes, I'm really a dating coach. And I put that in because I had too many women message or even go on dates with me and be like, yeah, I wasn't sure if you're joking. And I was like, from my perspective, I was thinking that's kind of a weird thing to joke about. Like I can think of a lot of other things maybe I would put there other than men's dating coach but anyhow, so I had enough women ask me that I just decided to put it in there. And then the key, if you're going to describe your job, is you want to just make it so it's very like easy for her to understand. And you don't need to go into the details. You don't want to you don't need to make it sound, you just want to have it be fun. So when I work with guys, sometimes we punch up what their job is. So we highlight the one or two things that will make it fun for you and her to kind of like, for her to get a general sense of it. So oftentimes when women ask me, are you really a dating coach? The next thing is like, well, how do you help guys or something like that? So if it's over chat that they're asking, I've got a few kind of go-to lines at this point. And as you get more comfortable with online dating and even just dating in general, you like work out your kind of own common little like phrases to say. And there's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with having some go-to lines. It's really helpful. So what I would say in that sort of situation, if a girl was like, well, what do you, how do you help men? What my typical thing would be something like, well, usually I just, I spend most of my time trying to convince them to get a puppy and meet women at dog parks. But every once in a while I help them with building social skills, getting confidence and having a game plan to succeed with women. But it's mostly the dog. So that's what I would say to a woman in like an actual message, to be playful about it. Like it's just a fun thing to say. But as I'm describing myself, what I say is, yes, I'm really a dating coach. I show shy men confidence and teach douchey guys humility. Yoga, vegan, meditation, hikes, and naps are key. So now first I explain, I show shy men confidence, teach douchey guys humility. So I'm focusing on the two extremes and explain it in a way that a woman's going to appreciate. So she's going to appreciate that I'm teaching shy guys, kind of the good guys, how to be confident with women. She's also going to appreciate if I'm going on the other end and the guys who are douchebags, because this is feedback I get a lot from women is, man, there's so many douchebags out there. Well, I teach them humility, right? So I'm appealing to her, and it is what I do, but I'm appealing to her and explaining it in her ways. I wouldn't ever call a guy that I'm working with a douche. I would say, maybe he has high expectations, maybe unrealistic expectations, maybe there's something we need to tweak. I wouldn't call him a douche though, right? And I would say oftentimes when a woman's calling a guy a douche, she might misperceive something, and oftentimes there's a miscommunication, something lost in translation, but like, I'm just going to go with how they're sharing things. So yoga, vegan, meditation, hikes, and naps are key. So now I'm listing a couple things about me. So she just gets a better sense, sees if I'm the right fit for her. I could easily have done like a photo of me doing yoga. I just don't have any. And just isn't that high on my list because my profile is doing well enough right now. But that would be something I could add so she could get that visual and be very clear. And one way that I know what to put into my profile is the feedback I get, and then also the women that I find attractive on there beyond just their looks. I feel like looks is like level 1. Great. Okay, I find you attractive. But then do I find compatibility? Do I see like actual interests and values displayed? So I see women that do yoga and things like that. So were I to want to attract more of those women in, I probably would go ahead and take a photo of me doing yoga or have someone take one of me. That way that could go on my profile too. I would also have to think about a way to do it that would appear candid and not look posed, and there'd be a little bit to it, but it won't be that complicated of an art to figure out if I wanted to do that. Now, what's something you are passionate about? So it's useful at the end of any description that you do. So first, let's take a look at what I did. So first, I sort of painted a picture of what she and I could be together. Next, I said, yes, I'm really a dating coach, described myself. Then I described a little bit about my values. And now I am asking her a question. The beauty of this, especially on an app like Bumble, is I'm giving her a lot of ways to begin a conversation with me and what I'm sharing. So what's something you are passionate about? That's just a question. And if I were on Tinder, if I were really anywhere else that has a description, I would have something at the end, a call to action, so that it's easy for a woman to begin a conversation with me. Because sometimes women want to, but they don't know what to say. Hey, I mean, you get it. You're a guy. You probably don't always know what to say. Well, why would a woman? So it's just, let's just make it easy. Let's make it easy for her to want to like message you. And one way you can do that is by asking her a question, this call to action element. And then I put a little bit of a note in here because I do change my location now and again to network with different people. And I said, P.S. in Tahoe, I changed location for Bumble Biz. Like, if there is anything that you think might be confusing about your profile, you might want to make a note of it. So that's why I put like, yes, I'm really a dating coach. Yes, I'm clearing up right here. That's the location I'm at. And then I go through my basic info. Now, I am 5'9". I've put 5'10", I've put 5'11" in the past. I'm just being completely honest now. There's no reason to lie about that. Yeah, I fill out most of the other things just as is honest, and that's kind of it. So my interests, I chose a couple interests that were relevant to me. Those aren't too big of a deal. And then this is where it does get fun, choosing prompts. And then there's a little bit of an art to it. So the prompts are really useful because these get to bring out more of your personality. Now, not everyone fills out the prompts. I think they're doing themselves a disservice. I think the prompts do a really good job at displaying your personality in another way. So she gets more of a sense of who you are. So let's take a look at this. So dog licks. So the world would be a better place with more dog licks, positivity, and holistic perspectives. So the kind of an easy way to think about this, if it's sort of like a list sort of answer you're going to do, is you can think 1 funny, 2 serious, or two funny, 1 serious. So dog licks, positivity, and holistic perspectives. Positivity and holistic perspectives, these are part of sort of my values or the way I see the world. And I want a woman who understands that. Dog licks is fun, light, and sweet. I could have also said dog licks, free money, free food, dog licks, free pizza, and positivity, and that would have been just fine. So it's really that 1 and then 2 serious, or 1 play, or 2 play and then 1 serious. But that kind of like, it gives a good balance. So she's like, okay, so he's playful, but he's also serious. She starts getting a better sense of who you are as a whole. Now, if we go down to the quickest way to my heart. So I've done a few experiments here. So the first thing that I said is through my 4th sternum or whatever, knife through my 4th sternum. Now, I generally don't put like violence or anything that could be perceived as violence in my dating profile, or really in anything that I do or joke about when I'm with a woman, because I don't want her to have violence on her mind when she's with me. I want her to be experiencing good expectations and not have to be concerned whether, there's anything sketchy or something about me. But the quickest way to my heart is telling me a conspiracy theory. I'm a little bit different. So I want a woman who's kind of like, all right, like I get it. I'm down with, saying a conspiracy theory. And I have a lot of women, by the way, message me about this who are like, oh, I've got a conspiracy theory for you. And then in their first message, they'll send like a pretty long conspiracy theory or at least a solid paragraph. And so it's fun to think what can make you a little bit different that really does speak to who you are. Because understand, nowadays, the apps aren't about bringing in as many women as possible. It's about bringing in the right women. There's just like, it's just not helpful anymore to make your profile appeal to everyone. If you appeal to everyone, you kind of appeal to no one unless you're a very, very attractive man or woman. And so the way you can stand out now is, one, have high quality pictures, two, have them be different and convey different parts of you. And honestly, I could have these really cleaned up and throw in a little bit more about, myself and who I am. Maybe I would even show a picture of me podcasting because, that's part of what I do now. But something that stands out a little bit. So she's like, oh, okay, I see, who this guy is. And it gives her a reason to respond. And I think I've said things before, like something that I believe is like, we're all aliens or something like that. And then I would have women respond to that. Now, the interesting thing is, you're actually not going to lose very many women for putting something a little bit weird. And so if it's something weird, just like a little bit off, like I believe in aliens or whatever, like most women are going to just find that kind of interesting. They're not going to like automatically left swipe there. They might not agree with it, or they might think it's silly, but they're not going to just left swipe for that. They might if the rest of your profile is weird, but I think a lot of guys are worried that if they put one wrong thing, that's it. And that's not the case, at least not what I've seen. So telling the quickest way to my heart, telling me a conspiracy theory. And then here's the last piece. And I think this is useful because I don't think guys do it very often, at least as I'm watching what guys are discussing and describing when they're asking for feedback on their profiles. They all like just seem to want to appeal to everyone. Well, you know what a woman wants, what a woman really wants and finds attractive? A guy who knows what he wants. So the more clear you can get on that. And so at the beginning of this, I paint a little bit of a picture of the type of woman that I want. At the end, I describe the type of woman I'm looking for. I'm hoping you are a soulful woman who is confident with herself and has a big heart. And I've had women message me with this as well. Hey, I'm a soulful woman with a big heart. And the thing that's good about this is it's just being very clear. Like with where I'm at right now in my life, I'm very big on my spirituality, very big on that side of things. It's not everybody's jam, and I'm cool with that. But I do want that, whatever woman I am with, like I want her to be on board. Why wouldn't I? And why wouldn't you want a woman to be on board with whatever you're into? So you can just begin to clarify for yourself. You can say, you're looking for a swole mate. You can say whatever it is. There are women that are out there that are looking for that too. And so you can begin to describe that a little bit more for yourself. So as you get more clear on the type of relationship you want to have and the type of woman you want in it, it's really going to help you get clear on the person that, on what you want to do for your profile. So one other thing, which I actually interestingly don't do much in this profile, usually I use more emojis, just a couple, but more. So like right here, you can see dog licks, positivity with the praying hands together. Usually I use a few more emojis for whatever reason I didn't hear. It would probably help a tiny bit, but like it is that balance of play, of showing what you want, while also blending it with being serious. So it's a bit of a line, and then also making sure your photos are both high quality and displaying different sides of you. But you get to iterate over time. You're going to have feedback. First, you might have feedback in the harsh reality you're not getting matches. If that's the case, photos. If you're getting matches, but they're not quite what you're right, might be photos, might also be your description. If you're really getting like the description in, but you're having women ask you questions about it, now you get to refine the description. And so treat this as an iterative process. And if you do that, I promise you're going to have a lot more success when it comes to dating and women. And if you are in need of better, higher quality photos, get ready. There's going to be a video coming out soon where I explain to you how you can find a photographer that's going to specifically help you with dating profile photos, because that's a very specific type of person, and I'm going to have an episode soon about that for you. So until next time, keep having a good time, keep being a good guy, and to your success. Oh, hey, so you're still here. Cool. Go ahead and subscribe below if you haven't already. That is great. You'll get more notifications of all the stuff coming out that I think will really help you. And then if you're ready to get on a call with me, we can go into detail of where you're at right now on your dating journey and where you want to go. It's a free call. Just go to the link in the description, or you can just enter into your URL browser thing, chrishardersdatingcoach.com/chat. So till next time, my name is Chris Harders. I'm so glad that you're here.